I'm curious to see your thoughts on Hulk 1, by the way.
Yeah, I need to read it. Probably
Well, I'm
I'll read
curious to see your
it.
thoughts because they speak like this was a game changer, and I don't know if it was. I think it's interesting,
Hmm.
and I think that I don't know how to describe it. Going into it, I felt like they were saying like this has never been done before, and I guess this style has never been done before, but the format is basically the same as always. Do you know like it's not an original idea. It's just painted differently.
Right, right, right. Okay, yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean?
I, I don't have like super high expectations. Like the only reason I do, like we've talked on end before about how we both feel about Donny Cates.
Yeah,
Um, it's never really anything bad. But again, like I have a lot more faith in him than I should because
yeah,
of how little I've read from him.
yeah.
I mostly have as much faith as I do
Well, I
because
think that
uh,
yeah. Sorry, on you go.
no, sorry, someone's trying to call me, so I got to tell them to. Anyway,
I the thing is like I think if another writer wrote this issue, I'd maybe be like, eh, but like Cates writes it in a way that's quite energetic, so that you still, even if I think the way I do, I'm still like, yeah, I'm pretty on board with that. The biggest selling point of the book is Ryan Ottley.
honestly, yeah, I think like as much
Like
as
if
I love the Hulk,
yeah,
uh, I don't know that Kate's writing it would have been enough for me to be like, you know what, I'm going to pull this. But I
yeah,
think Ryan Otley is what put me over the edge. I'm like, okay, an artist that I love, right, drawing a character that I love
yeah,
from one of the top writers who I'm not super familiar with. I'll
yeah.
give it a shot.
It's actually really funny because coming out of it, he was the MVP of the book. Like, I think that if you love his art in Invincible, you'll love this. Like, if you're an Invincible fan, you'll love this. It made me realize that when he was drawing Spider-Man, I was like, damn, that's so perfect because like Invincible and Mark, and it just fits. And you read and you watched and then you read it and you were like, this is a bit boring. Like there's not much to it. But then you read Hulk, and there's so much carnage in it, and you're like, fuck, no, this is it. Like Invincible's great because Otley's so good at action,
Uh huh.
not the normal moments.
Yeah.
But when he picked up Spider-Man, I thought, oh, he'd be really good because Mark is like Peter. But again, that's not the case at all. When you read Hulk, you go, this is what he's good at. That's like I misinterpreted Invincible. It makes you think about
Yeah.
Invincible differently. You know,
That's
Invincible's
interesting.
quite loud with some of its moments, and that Hulk one is quite loud, and you can tell like it feels like now I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, he was really shackled on Spider-Man.
Right. I do think
Whereas
it
with
was
Hulk,
weird.
he
I,
can
I
kind
didn't
of lose
read the
it.
Spider-Man that he did. Um, but whenever, because I follow him on Twitter, so whenever those books were coming out, I would see pictures of Craven, and I'm like, Craven looks like a fucking Viltrumite. I can't unsee
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like,
Even like Peter just looked like Mark, but with brown hair. Like it's just,
yeah,
it, and like as I say, like the way that like here's the thing, right? I think this is the biggest thing when you compare Nick Spencer and Donny Cates, right? It's clear as day that Nick Spencer had no clue how to get the best out of Ryan Otley. And
mm,
Ryan Otley felt that because I remember he left that run early and he said that I think he said the schedule was grueling. And he just, I remember thinking, man, this guy's not enjoying this. Like he's not like loving this. Just from the things he'd said, I was like, he's
yeah,
leaving this because he's a bit done with. And I thought he was done because I remember it felt like he was saying he kind of wasn't enjoying like Marvel. He wasn't enjoying like he likes indie. He doesn't like doing those big two sort of books.
yeah.
But then when you read Hulk, you're like, damn, Cates knows what he's doing. Like Cates knows the artist he has and is wrote specifically for that artist's strengths.
So do you think he did the same thing with Ryan Stegman for like Venom and stuff?
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I would probably agree with that. Like Venom read well, but it looked amazing. Other than a couple points here and there where I thought is maybe a little ropey, but it was very much like built into Stegman's style. I mean, Stegman's built for a Spider-Man character in general, so it all kind of already fits. But I do feel like it pushed it to another level. Like if I think about Stegman, I think about like his Superior run, which was good, and it was like an eviler take on Spider-Man, but it didn't like push the boundaries. Like it still had to be within a certain confinement. And then like when I think he did the Scarlet Spider run, and like that's even more like that was more a more dark Spider-Man. And you're thinking, okay, so like that's really good, but he couldn't go all the way. But then you read Venom and he goes all the way with his art. He get able to do so much and stuff. And like as you just say, I think Cates gets Venom. I don't know if he asks for Stegman or gets given Stegman, but then he looks at Scarlet Spider and Superior Spider and goes, "This guy's built for this," and then kind of run with it. It's the same idea with Hulk. I feel like I don't know if he's picked Ryan Ottley or if he's been given him. If he's picked him, he's the smartest guy on the planet. And he's went like, okay, so if I'm going to write this Hulk book, let's have a lot of like chaos. Let's have a lot of action, but in a specific way, written directly for him. And it's allowed, like now I read that. It's like an energized Ryan Ottley. I feel like reading Spider-Man was like a really dull and bored Ottley. Whereas this felt that in one issue, I was like, some of the panels I felt like exploded off the page, kind of like when I was reading Invincible, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And I was very surprised because, like you said, when Ottley said like he wasn't really feeling it, I almost distinctly remember him tweeting at one point shortly after the Spider-Man stuff that he said he wasn't going to do another monthly series.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that he was put on this Hulk book, I was like, well, how the fuck is that going to work? Because I don't know what he did in between Spider-Man and Hulk. Like I know it hasn't been that long, but it's a fairly like it's like almost like 2 years, I think, at least, or like a year and a half. So like I feel like that's a long time to not have any work. I know that he did the Rick Grimes like 2000 or whatever the hell it was for the Bound X. But I think that was only like 5 parts or something.
Yeah.
So like outside of that, I don't know what he worked on in between.
I mean, again, that's the thing. Like, if it was Marvel or if it was Cates, they're a genius because I think that Hulk one issue, if someone else draws it, it's not as engaging. I think another artist could easily just make it like genetic, just like you trust me. Yeah, when you read it, I think you'll understand. But with having Ottley, it's got that invincible energy, and that's kind of what it's clear that that's what this needed. So they're geniuses for it.